A 35-year-old former driver is suing the director of the Sungai Buloh prison, the government and 7 others for negligence. V. Sashitheran claimed that he did not receive assistance from 5 prison officers on duty near his cell when 5 prisoners assaulted him while he was held on remand for a minor drug offence on December 1, 2015. Lawyer N. Surendran said his client had sustained damage to his spinal cord, which caused him to lose control of his bodily functions and sensation on his skin.
The prison officers and wardens and the prison had the responsibility to ensure his safety. Instead, when he was shouting and screaming, that is his case, that we have filed here, you will find it has been pleaded. When he was shouting in pain and screaming for help, none of the prison officers came forward to stop the assault on him or to help him. So he was beaten. On top of it, after he was beaten, he did not receive any medical assistance for hours, and he lay there completely immobile, unable to move.
Exemplary damages is one kind of the damages that the court has the intention to punish the wrongdoer by an additional award on top of the awards of the compensatory damages, and perhaps to deter others who might be tempted to act in the same way as the defendant. In a case of Brooks and Burnett, 1964, Lord Devlin, the judge, stated that the damages of this type would only be awarded in specific cases and then only very exceptional. There are 3 classes of the cases which the exemplary damages have been awarded were considered, and one of them is where the servants of the government behave in an oppressive, arbitrary, or unconstitutionally way. This case is one of the examples of those cases which has been reported in the newspaper, which involve the government servant to commit the unconstitutional way or actions towards the victim. The victim should be awarded the exemplary damages for the negligence of the officers towards him.
In the Malaysian case of Zulkifli bin Taib and another and Prabhakar anak lelaki Balakrishnan and others, the plaintiff was arrested by the defendants, which are a police team, and was brought to an interrogation room. During the process of interrogation, the plaintiff claimed that he was kicked. In previous session court, the first and second defendants were sentenced to 4 years of imprisonment. In the Court of Appeal, the issue arose was whether exemplary damages can, in law, be awarded to the plaintiff when the first and second defendants had been convicted and sentenced by a criminal court on a charge in respect of the corresponding act. The court held that the plaintiff was entitled to pursue a claim for exemplary damages even though the defendants have received a sentence of imprisonment following their convictions for the assaults on which the actions were based. The learned senior federal counsel submitted that the sole purpose of exemplary damages was to punish and deter the tortfeasor, as the act of the defendants was oppressive, arbitrary and unconstitutional. The court awarded to the plaintiff Rm 100,000 ringgit for aggravated and exemplary damages.
In the case of Selvi anak perempuan Narayan and others versus Corporal Zainal bin Muhammad Ali and others, it is decided in the High Court of Kuala Lumpur on the 4th January 2017 that the deceased had died because of heart attack. The officers in charge were not responsible towards the death of the victim or the suspect in the cell because the deceased acted unconsciously and he was mentally disturbed. That has been proved by the CCTV and however, the dependents of the victim had been awarded 200,000 ringgit Malaysia as the pre-damages. The case, which involved the government servant, in the case of Datuk Seri Khalid Abu Bakar and others versus N. Indra Pinalatambi, which involved this is an appeal case where the deceased were beaten by his lockup mates and he was not assisted with an immediate medical assistance from the officers in charge. He died on the scene. The court had decided that the dependents should have been awarded with exemplary damages, and the exemplary damages decided was RM 300,000.
Today I will interview the police officer, Assistant Superintendent Police Jamaluddin Shah bin Muhammad Jawad, regarding the issue of exemplary damages, which is involve police and PDRM. So let's go.
Pengalaman sepanjang saya melaksanakan tugas dalam PDRM berkaitan dengan ganti rugi teladan melibatkan pegawai dan juga anggota PDRM. Umumnya semua pihak perlu mengetahui kes-kes yang melibatkan ganti rugi teladan, terutamanya melibatkan PDRM, berlaku pada dua jenis. Yang pertama, kes-kes yang melibatkan salah laku pegawai dan anggota semasa melaksanakan tugas di lapangan, dan juga yang kedua semasa melakukan tugas terutamanya di dalam lokap. Okey, sekiranya kes-kes berlaku, satu-satu kes berlaku di dalam lokap, OCS sebagai timbalan pengawal lokap akan bertanggungjawab mengawal tempat kejadian sekiranya berlaku satu-satu kejadian, terutamanya kejadian yang melibatkan kematian terhadap mangsa ataupun terhadap OKT semasa ditahan dalam lokap. OCS juga akan terus memanggil pegawai kesihatan untuk mengesahkan kematian mangsa, sama ada mangsa itu mati ataupun belum. Dan juga ketiga, OCS juga atau polis balai juga akan memanggil magistrat untuk tengok keadaan seperti selepas disahkan oleh magistrat, barulah pihak PD yang berkaitan ataupun balai yang berkaitan akan mendapatkan bantuan daripada forensik PDRM untuk memeriksa keadaan mangsa sebelum dikeluarkan mayat itu daripada lokap. Selepas semua prosedur ini telah dipenuhi ataupun telah dilaksanakan, barulah mayat mangsa itu akan dibawa ke hospital untuk tujuan postmortem. Okey, itu bagi kes yang di dalam lokap. Kes-kes yang di luar pula adalah kes melibatkan kecuaian ataupun kekerasan melampau PDRM, anggota pegawai PDRM semasa melaksanakan tugas, sama ada tugas sebagai tangkapan ataupun membuat tahanan terhadap mangsa. Ia sebenarnya bergantung kepada kes-kes yang berlaku. Sekiranya kes tersebut wajar dikenakan tindakan ganti rugi teladan, maka pihak yang berwajib perlulah melaksanakan tindakan ganti rugi teladan melalui kerumahan yang telah dilantik agar ianya memberikan tauladan dan juga pengajaran kepada mana-mana penjawat awam yang melaksanakan tugas supaya mematuhi prosedur yang telah ditetapkan. Ianya juga bergantung kepada tekanan dan juga isu yang perlu ditanggung oleh mangsa ataupun suspek sendiri, terutamanya penjawat awam yang melaksanakan tindakan. Kadang tindakan yang dilakukan oleh pihak berkuasa ni sama ada di luar kawalan dia ataupun benda ni berlaku secara spontan dan juga berlaku secara cepat, pantas. Mungkin pegawai dan anggota yang dia menjalankan tugas dia tapi telah ditakdirkan ataupun telah menyebabkan mangsa itu mati. Itu juga perlu difikirkan untuk dinilai sedalam-dalamnya. Ianya tidak terpakailah sekiranya pihak polis semasa melaksanakan tugas dia sebagaimana yang saya beritahu daripada awal tadi, yang melibatkan kes-kes salah laku pegawai dan juga anggota semasa menjalankan siasatan terhadap mangsa, terutamanya di dalam lokap. Sebab prosedur di dalam lokap telah ditetapkan setiap balai, setiap FPD, yang mana kita ada perintah tetap KPD untuk polis daerah berkenaan dengan penjagaan lokap. Sekiranya pegawai penyiasat, anggota yang bertugas di dalam lokap melaksanakan tugasan dia dengan mengikut prosedur yang telah ditetapkan, maka tidak berlakulah kematian ataupun kecederaan parah terhadap mangsa, terhadap OPT semasa di dalam lokap. Sekiranya wujud kecuaian daripada pihak polis dalam kes ni, maka ganti rugi teladan merupakan salah satu ganti rugi yang patut diberikan terhadap waris kepada mangsa.
In the United States case of the estate of Ashley DiPiazza and the city of Madison and Justin Bailey, Gary P. Laja and Carrie Lirac, the plaintiff was shot by the defendants, which are Justin Bailey and Gary P. Laja, when she was refused to surrender her weapon to the two police officers. In the early morning hours of May 18, 2014, several police officers responded to a report of a domestic disturbance in an apartment on Madison's Far East Side. After a fight with her boyfriend, the plaintiff, Ashley DiPiazza, had taken his boyfriend's gun and threatening to shoot herself. The police officers at the scene repeatedly warning her to put the gun down. After a several times, when the plaintiff opened the door with the gun on her own head, officers Justin Bailey and Gary P. Laja reacted by shooting her, which results in killing her. Her father brought this civil lawsuit in his capacity as the personal representative of Ashley's estate, alleging that the defendants violated Ashley's Fourth Amendment right by using unreasonably and excessive force when they shot and killed her. The court held that the two police officers had use of deadly force against a woman threatening only suicide was unreasonable as a matter of law. The court awarded $7 million to the plaintiff for exemplary damages.
By hearing the judgment of cases in Malaysia and the United States, we can see the differences between these two countries. In Malaysia, the case of Sin Hab Lee and Murabini Sindan Berhad provides a guiding principle for the award of exemplary damages. It said that it should be calculated at 25% of the award for compensatory damages. However, in United States, juries may still award multi-million-dollar punitive damage awards, particularly in cases involving significant compensatory damages. In the cases of Ashley DiPiazza, the juries awarded the family $4 million in compensatory and $3 million in punitive damages. Thus, we can see that United States has the largest punitive damage awards. By contrast, Malaysia appears to have the smaller exemplary damages award. Besides, the courts in Malaysia awarded exemplary damages specifically in tort cases, while United States permits punitive damages in both tort and contract actions.
In conclusion, we can see that exemplary damages is one of the damages that helps the dependents from burdening themselves if the victim or the deceased had died or injured because of the actions of the government servants. It is also to give lessons towards the government servants or other persons who has the intention to attempt the same wrongdoings towards the suspects or the victims. It is against the SOP or the standard operation procedures if the government servants are not doing their jobs according to the SOPs. The SOPs has been decided by the government so that all the government servants are bound to the laws. It is to ensure that the government servants give their best to follow the laws and to give examples as a good Samaritan towards the citizens or the civilians in Malaysia. It is against the human nature if the government servants do not have the intention to give their best for their responsibilities, because the civilians will look up to them, and if the examples given are not according to the SOPs, therefore the government servants can be liable towards the negligence or anything he or she had committed, and exemplary damages would be the best solution to give lessons towards them.